Hi, Blastpop here. Today I'm looking at the expansion for Fighting Formations, an expansion called Battle for Kharkov. Now, this is an add-on to a game that goes back to about 2011 by GMT Games, designed by Chad Jensen. While this expansion isn't designed by Chad Jensen, it's by a Brian R. Van Nortwick. It does have some of Chad's and his wife Mark on the game to make sure that it passes muster and fits seamlessly with the prior game. Now, the game includes a small 1-inch box, or the expansion does, I should say, and this gives you a sense of what's in the package. Now there's 5 back printed map sheets, 2 different sizes, and so that gives you 10 maps and consequently 10 new scenarios. A 24-page rule book, half sheet of counters, and additionally, although not mentioned, some charts and tables to update the game to have the information for the new units that are included in this game. The new units in the game include the Soviet tank destroyer Su-76, which is also, they classify as an assault gun, Su-85 tank destroyers, T-34Cs, T-26, German Mark 6, Tiger 1, Panzer 3M 75mm anti-tank guns, and some additional infantry for one or more of the scenarios. And the difference with this, while there is plenty of scenarios in the other game, the base game of Fighting Formations, this includes 10 scenarios that are of somewhat smaller scale and size. And the advantage being that these scenarios are finishable in a lesser period of time, which is good for those trying to play a short game in a club environment or want to introduce somebody to the game in question. So they're nice, they're more playable in that respect. In terms of what comes in the rules booklet here, there's some historical information, and then more or less go straight into the scenarios, one after the other. And as you can see, there isn't an awful lot of forces, so the counter density is going to tend to be fairly light for the most part. So I guess the other possibility too is if the scenario is short, you can keep the pieces out and switch sides with your opponent. And the game isn't that bad either from a solitaire standpoint, with a few accommodations. I previously mentioned this in a couple other videos, that solitaire play isn't that difficult, especially if you want to get your head around the system, the order chart, and or you just can't get enough of the game. And just poking through quickly through the scenarios here. Again, fairly light density. So in game terms, in this scenario alone, you just got 10 pieces for the Germans, and not that many more for the Soviets. So again, it's a quick playing scenario. Same quality that you come to expect from the base game, both in terms of the quality, but also in terms of how the game is set up. So it's instantly familiar. There really isn't much in the way of rules learning. All you have to do is pull this game out, punch some counters, and put it on the table, which is nice. Additionally, here's the half sheet of counters. Some Su-85s. On the back. You get two of this chart, which is basically all the charts that have changed. So you just use for the melee and for the fire charts, barrage table, you substitute this from your base game, and you can keep on going, so you don't have to have an additional set of charts that you have to refer to occasionally, which is nice. So they just basically replace it for you. There's the second copy. Now I have the maps laid out here, all 5. Give you a sense of what they do look like. Now this is map number 9. $11. A little village here with a little stream running through it, and either a big river or a estuary of some sort. Next map, 14. A little bit of elevation in the lower right hand corner of the map. A small settlement, fields. Next map is 18. Again, it's a small settlement, large fields. While I haven't played any of the scenarios yet from this game of expansion, presumably this is some setup hexes. I haven't examined it enough to know, for both the Germans and the Soviets. Well, these are two-sided maps. I'm going to only show you one side of the 22 by 34 maps because they are large. But I chose the ones that I thought were most interesting to me. They have the most variation in terrain for that particular side of the map sheet. This is map number 17. I'm sure DYO players, while not specifically a part of this game system, could use some of these larger maps as generic terrain and create scenarios of their own choosing and get more use out of the individual maps instead of one use for one scenario. But the concept, I think, is still rather cool. Here we have map 15. Most of the maps are semi-agricultural, so you can see that there's some buildings. You've got the fields from the nearby villages to fight over. The map style is kind of simple, sort of like Combat Commander. Some people have criticized the map graphics as not being as sophisticated as they might have liked. But on the plus side is the components and the maps are perfectly serviceable as they are, and in my opinion work well and add an air of simplicity to what for some folks can be a complex game, although I don't think it's terribly difficult. Here's the last one I'm going to show you, map 12. This is fairly interesting in that it's got a major river feature running through the map, some fortifications defending the bridges, so presumably the Soviets are defending this way, and I'm guessing the Germans are making their approach from over here. Although, it does say over here that the German reinforcements are on this east edge of the map. And then you've got Soviet reinforcements coming over from here. It's going to be a wild battle. Anyway, this gives you a sense of what's included in the package. I think it's an excellent value for what you get in the box. And the short playing scenarios are a plus. The only thing I could find to quibble with is that while the maps are nice and the scenarios are small, each individual map is going to see very little play in the scheme of your Fighting Formations gameplay. So, bearing that in mind, I think this is a great package, and I look forward to putting it on my game table soon. This has been Blastpop. Bye.